Okay, so here's the thing. You have the secret to happiness right now. It's really easy. It's called the golden rule. People make fun of it. He who has the gold rules. No, he who treats others as he wishes to be treated will be delivered peace, joy, prosperity, happiness, a release of all judgment and attack thoughts, a release of all fear, guilt, shame, and self-loathing. Treat people well and it will come back to you in spades. Okay.
All right, welcome back to Evil Scuba Diver, only show on the internet where we talk about what albums I listen to every month. And this month, everything I listened to in November 2025. And we got a lot of albums on the conveyor belt today. Let's hop straight into it because we don't got all day here. The College Dropout by Kanye West. What an insane, wholesome come-up album. This is a come-up album. Just the energy on this thing, it is like make or break. If Kanye does not prove himself, he dies. It's filled with self-analysis about how hungry he is, like the 12-minute last call that ends the whole album, or on 2 words, right? Or Jesus Walks, where he's talking about like, here's my hit single, here's my radio single. We're talking about Jesus. They're not gonna play this one. Like he's thinking about the industry. He's in the come up. He's trying to game it. You know what I mean? It can't help but seep through in the music. It's one of Kanye's longest albums, but it does not die. It doesn't die. You can listen to this all the way through as much as you want. I've been listening to slow jams heavy this month. College Dropout, Young Kanye was cooking. Also listen to Late Registration and Graduation. Don't really have too much to say about these. I think they're cool. Very simple though, low-key. Like after listening to the College Dropout, which is just like decked out like a carnival with all the different like stylings and production effects and stuff like that, listening to something like Heard Him Say, where it's kind of like an echo drum beat, a piano, and then getting like Adam Levine to do something on it, it's really not as interesting to me. Like Late Registration through 808s, he got really simple with the beats, and it's really intriguing to me because like College Dropout is so decked out. You would think you'd want to keep it going, but I don't know. We also listened to Trans Europe Express by Kraftwerk. Never listened to Kraftwerk, never knew what they about, and you don't know what they about either probably. But we tapped into the album Trans Europe Express, and they're Daft Punk. That's exactly what they are. They're Daft Punk before Daft Punk. They're the precursor. They're the monolith that landed in front of the apes that created Daft Punk. And it's so simple. It's so simple. It's just loud snares and kicks and noises all mixed together, and then they're chanting Trans Europe Express, Trans Europe Express. And that's actually kind of sick because it differentiates the album from what could just be, you know, like a bleep bloop synth fest into like an actual like weird niche concept about like poking fun at the fact that you're on like a train, or just chanting the train's name, or just like building an album around a random thing. That's cool. And the whole reason I checked out this album in the first place is because Rick Rubin put them on his Mount Rushmore, and who am I to like not expound upon something that like, you know, he's heavily recommending. You know, it intrigued me. Also Kraftwerk, what an interesting name, interesting French name, you know what I mean? I can picture 4 like skinny like French baristas like making analog music and just coming up with that name. Ooh, Kraftwerk. Let's tell me the name of Kraftwerk. Yeah, I don't know, but this is the album that they would produce over a long weekend, and pretty chill. Check it out. Stardust by Danny Brown. Last month I thought this album was going to kill me. That's what I thought. I thought this album was going to blow me away and like slide me across the ground, my face be smearing like A-Train, turn me into like a Paul Thomas Anderson like screenplay or something. But it wasn't that reaction for me. For me, it was actually kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that's it. I mean, it's Danny rapping over hyperpop beats while talking about self-actualization, and I should be more enthusiastic about that because I'm really in to the self-actualization theme. You know, Danny transformed. He went through this like physical change, very intensive. He did his own thing. He held himself accountable, right? Like he did what he needed to do, and that's interesting. And I wanted like a really awesome meaty piece of art out of it, but we're getting like a hyperpop playlist instead, which really kind of throws me off, especially because Quedeca has produced 2 songs on here, and they're just completely different from the rest of the album. They sound like Quedeca songs overtly. You know what I mean? It sounds like, you know, I was looking for a Danny Brown album. I was looking for a Danny Brown album, capital D, capital B. Up the DBs on that capital D, capital B, right? You know what I'm saying? opinion, but we didn't get that. We got Hyperpop Spotify playlist featuring Danny Brown on every song. That's how I feel about it, and that's kind of unfortunate. But I will say that The End is one of his best songs of all time that he's ever created. I think that one really gets the job done. If you had to walk away with like one song in your head, it would be that one. Yet so experimental. It's like a 7-minute suite where just Danny is detailing this odyssey of what it took to change and how he had to say no and like governing his own discipline and shit like that. And then there's like a verse in Ukrainian or Polish or some sort of like European language that I can't really understand, just like rattling off the chorus and rattling off a whole like 2-minute section of the song, and it works because I mean, even though I can't understand anything, I like the girl's voice. One. Also, I mean, rhythm and sound, man. I mean, it's all like she's still percussive. She's still doing melodies with her voice, even though I can't understand it, man. It's like listening to a bird sing their song. You know what I mean? You're detached from the meaning. I don't know what the bird going tweet tweet. I don't know what he means. I don't know what he's trying to say, but I do appreciate the fact that he's out there doing it. It makes me feel good hearing it as like a sound. You know what I mean? So that was really cool implementation. I thought it was pretty avant-garde as well. It was Danny really showing that like, oh shit, like I'm gonna put you in a different hemisphere of the globe for a second. I'm not even gonna care about it. Kind of cradling this coffee as I'm opening it. Sorry about that. Moving on though, we got a lot of ambient Japanese albums. Holy crap. I've got considerably acquainted with the ambient Japanese section of YouTube as of this month, as of late. A lot of studying, final season coming up. I had to pull an all-nighter and edit a video for one of my media classes. That night was an event in and of itself, but we listened to a lot of ambient Japanese stuff, mostly from Takashi Kakubo, who is just hella into making songs about the forest in the 1990s. We got Blessings of the Forest, 1990, Forest of Ion, 1992, In the Forest, 1993. Also in 1993, he released The Day I Saw the Rainbow, so I guess he was in the forest and saw the rainbow on the same day, wrote 2 different albums about it. In the Forest, Forest of Ion, you're gonna get some ambient stuff and birds. You're gonna hear the sound of birds and crickets and little like wispy things. But if you hop over to the Kyoto Connection and their albums, Postcards and The Flower, the Bird, the Mountain, you're gonna get a little bit more of compositional stuff going on. They're still giving you flowers and birds, and they're placing you in like the center of the Zen garden, but they're not actually from the 80s. They like have this 80s nostalgia, but they're making music now. Like they're a current act. The Kyoto Connection is like fake OG, and it actually kind of turned me off from them because it's like, man, they kind of pimped me. I thought I was listening to some like true like cold-blooded Japanese ambient right here from the 80s, man, ripped straight off the vinyl. But they're LARPing, and it's beautiful music, but it just takes away from the magic, you know? I want to feel like I discovered something that nobody else could have ever conceived of, and it needs to be my thing. So that's disappointing. But I am getting that with Hiroshi Yoshimura, who did Green in 1986 and Wetland in 1993. These are 2 ambient albums. Great stuff. Hiroshi is actually kind of differentiated from these other 2 I've been talking about. He's playful. He kind of leans into like the fun of making music and then just making it ambient. He's like more video game soundtrack leaning. There's more blips and blops, more fun with the sound play, with the melodies being like, you know, showcased here. You can tell through the music that he's just messing around sometimes. And that's something I really appreciate, because you wouldn't think you'd be getting that out of an ambient Japanese album. But I mean, stacked up against all the other ones I've listened to, there's a personality within Hiroshi's stuff. I also listen to Tranquilizer by 10 Point Never. 10 Point Never, man, awesome producer for the modern age, making just the most he can do in the DAW every single time he releases. If you don't know who this dude is, he worked with The Weeknd. He kind of made like, you know, Dawn FM possible, kind of made the sound of Hurry Up Tomorrow possible. He also did like Good Time, and I mean, I watched Good Time recently again. What an awesome movie. But he does the soundtrack for all the Safdie movies. He made his own thing. It was wild. I think you should check it out. Kind of good for playing video games with. It kind of sounds like you're in a video game when you're listening to Tranquilizer. But I did listen to actually a lot of video game music in general this month as well, so we can just talk about that. Starting with Earthbound Volume 1. This got recommended to me. This is by The Versions, and you know, this is just like a lot of disjointed 8-bit melodies one after the other. It kind of feels like a SoundCloud playlist that got airdropped to you by your friend. He's like, check out the songs I made. They're all like a minute, and they like transition into each other really janky. That's kind of the experience I got. Oh my god, I caught my phone. I dropped it. You guys didn't see that, but it was really cool. We also listened to Desert Sand Feels Warm at Night, which is like a super duper ambient album. Probably seen this album on your recommended a couple times. I just clicked it. I was the same thing that happened to me. I just clicked it. I was having like an insomniac little little episode here in the early November. I was like, I need something to help me fall asleep. And this did it for about an hour. For an hour, I was floating, we were breezing. I was like in the pyramids. I was like discovering new things. Like I was like talking to the mummies and stuff. And all of a sudden, an hour into the album, there's drums. There's loud, huge, like tribal, like drums, like lo-fi, like chopped and screwed, but they're in there and they're an hour in and they just came out of nowhere and they took me out of it. And I have beef with that choice. I have beef with the producer of this desert environment, because why would you do that? The whole thing is like a tonal windscape experience, and then boom, I'm trying to fall into like third cycle REM sleep here, and I get pulled out because I'm just hearing chakunka. It's just a very incompetent decision on their part, like worth jail time, honestly. We also listen to Hyperlight Fragments by Disaster Piece, and this is like an airplane type of album. This is the type of album that lasts 20 minutes and you listen to it at the airport to get to your gate. That's about it. That's my experience with it, so take that how you will. Also listen to Mirror God by Giant Claw. Now this one kind of pisses me off a little bit from how well it's constructed, because the way it's constructed is it's trying to mess with you. The whole album, it's not even really music, it's just sound effect after sound effect after sound effect until you go insane. It was fun for the first minute. I was like, oh, this is a cool intro. You know what I mean? Like, pretty experimental. What is this sound play? This is very interesting. And then it keeps going. And when I say like sound effect after sound effect, I mean like it's like a gunshot, and then it's like a bleep bloop, and then it's like a doodle-doodle-doo, and it's like that, and it just keeps doing that for like 30 minutes. Granted, the stuff is hitting you in your ears in like an interesting way, the compression, the rarefactions, etc. But you know, it's like when do we get the anything? I don't know. It didn't feel real. It felt like it was joshing me around. It kind of pissed me off a little bit. But the Half-Life 2 original soundtrack did not. That was cool. I like this one. The vibe of Half-Life is like really strangely nostalgic to me, because it's like the game that I never grew up with. It came out the early 2000s, like Gary's Mod, early like 2005 kind of era video game culture is a weird aesthetic pocket for me, because it's something I've like vaguely experienced, but I never have technically. So I've just been diving into that aesthetic with like the Half-Life soundtrack, watching like a Half-Life lore breakdown. Portal and those two are connected. Half-Life 3 apparently has been in production for like 2 decades. There's some interesting stuff going on there. But the original soundtrack isn't too much else to write home about. It's kind of IDM music. Every once in a while, you'll get like a 30-second freak out of just like strings and like laser noises, and just like it's almost the sound of a boss like knowing where you are on the map, triangulating you and just full sprinting. It's like Anxiety like put into a wave file, and they just sprinkle those in as like 30-second interludes throughout the album, which is just like a frightening experience that you're going to experience if you listen to this thing. But overall, pretty simple stuff. Won't say the same thing about Congratulations by MGMT, which is not simple stuff. This stuff is actually psychedelic bliss, man. This like encapsulates my senior year of high school. I mean, there was a period where I was listening to this song every morning when I drove to school and every time I drove back. Like, it was literally the soundtrack to my like commute, and it holds classic status in my heart. I can't say anything else than the highest praise for it, which is why I don't have too much to say. How much else can you say other than this album is formative for me? This is like an arm. Like, this is like this is like a part of me somehow in some tangible way. I feel it. I don't know how you tangibly describe that. Maybe through a song or something. We also listened to Extreme 2, Porno Graffiti by Extreme. Now, I'd never heard of this band before, but I got put onto them in the gym when I asked this guy I was working in with on leg extensions, what music he was listening to. And he put me onto this, and this is like 80s hardcore, like AI-ified 80s music. Like, if you asked an AI to like mix Bon Jovi and Pat Benatar and Journey, most definitely in Boston, mix them all, make them a band, and throw AC/DC in there, make it heavy, this is what would come out. If you send this to your dad, he's going to be impressed. That's the adjective, impressed, more than anything else. Because not only is it all those things I just mentioned, but it's like heavy and experimental in its own way. Like, the first 40 seconds like open you up with like this ambient wind noise. There's like bells going on. There's like a woman screaming something interesting. You're like, oh, we're in for a ride then. That's interesting. Bet. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really cool album. I'd suggest it. Also, listen to Population 1. This is the self-titled album from Population 1, and it was pretty cool. Listened to it on the airplane, downloaded it, thought the album cover looked pretty noir, looked like a James Bond badass cover. And what I got was kind of like a more amateur Americanized, sort of like 30s dad bod version of Oasis. That's what I got. I enjoyed it thoroughly though. It was actually really interesting. There's some really cool ideas on just this random album that I just chose because the album cover. Like you can get gems that way, man. That's what I'm telling you. Like this album's kind of carefree in how it takes itself. Like it's pretty fun. The instrumentation is heavy and wild. The vocals are like very 2000s, early 2000s, but you kind of get acquainted with the fact that like the vocals don't sound too great. I don't know if it was just like listening to Igor as a teenager and just being really accustomed to like pitch shifting through Brockhampton or whatever, but every time I hear like bad or weird vocals, I just kind of think they add to the atmosphere of the song rather than take away from it. Like it's like, oh, this song's a little bit awkward now. That's interesting. Like not every song has to be valiant. Not every song has to be like in your face, like main character moment. Like sometimes you like a song where it just makes you feel destroyed. You like a song where it makes you feel a bit meek, a little bit femmy, a little bit feminine. Word. Let's move on. OK Computer by Radiohead. Classic status album. Can't really say too much else about it other than what I could say about it. I could say everything. One thing I will say though is I think the jump from the Bends to OK Computer actually needs to be talked about a little bit more because that is still a pretty big jump. Like if you listen to the Bends, if you listen to Black Star, like the only thing experimental going on in Black Star is like the time signature change or whatever. Overall, it's a pretty simple song. The Bends is inherently a pretty simple album. It's a good album, but it's a pretty simple album. But the stuff you're getting on OK Computer, man, that's like the weirdest stuff imaginable. Like Climbing Up the Walls is just like an ambient like anger excursion. Like it fills you with dread and like feedback and just weird, insane distortion noises. It's the album is unconventional. Like it makes sense why their label thought they were like having a career suicide moment when they brought it to their table. I mean, it is a weird album, and I think just returning to it with that context was what kind of gave it more life to me on this listen. And Paranoid Android just goes hard as hell. There's really no debating it, right? I gotta charge my computer though real quick, so I'll see you in the next album with a different shirt on. Welcome back! We also listened to Mercy, Arm & Hammer, and The Alchemist. It's like a momentum killer when I say something really high praise and then I bring it down. But that's how it's gonna have to be, such is life, whatever Plato said, Aristotle, Epidemus, Pentaradius, Pythagoras. 2 of those were AI. Truthfully, I wasn't as shell-shocked as I thought I would be. I thought I'd walk out of this thing like D-Day holding my organs and stuff, but I really wasn't. I loved Haram. I think Haram is one of the most hypnotic, smoky albums I think I've ever listened to. The experience I had with that album, like my freshman year of college, was really something, man. Really something I couldn't even tangibly go into detail on because I'd sound like schizophrenic. I'd be talking about it for an hour. But I was expecting something similar with Mercy. I thought the album cover was hella intriguing. From a graphic design standpoint, that texture, that coloring, that just like, oh, it's all on point. It's all on point. It's like smoky, hazy. It's classico. It's got the same energy as like a nice, ripe, aged salami. You know what I mean? Like that is just like the potent, vibrant. It's gonna get the job done. It's gonna be a little bit bad for you, right? But you're gonna enjoy it. That's the album cover. The album itself is kind of samey to me. I don't know. The Alchemist is awesome. I don't think they did as much risk taking on this thing. There's a couple cool beats, but I couldn't tell you the names of the songs. You know what I mean? Like I could with Stone Fruit on Haram. Like the Alchemist, he's still going crazy. Don't get me wrong, but you can see the blueprint in his songs now. You know kind of what he's gonna be doing. Sample, make it hazy, fade it out in a cool way, reverb. Ooh, here's a laser sound effect. It's like at a certain point, I'm seeing the blueprint more than I am experiencing the emotion of something new. And maybe that's just a predicament I'm in, but it is my predicament to share. And yeah, we can move on with White Bronco by Action Bronson, where we can bring the momentum up again and talk about how dope Action Bronson is. I think White Bronco is one of those albums that showcases he just does not care. And that's the best thing about it. Wouldn't change it for the world, because this man is the closest thing we have to like a walking cartoon character. On every song, he has this like Johnny Bravo cartoony aura that is just so perfect for just like the nonchalant sample he chooses to rap over, something like a Hungarian harpsichord sample from the 1940s, mixing in sounds of like crazy ad-libs of him screaming and coughing. Like the first thing on this album, the first thing you hear on White Bronco is him coughing. That's like the introduction. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I think that's what you need. Action Bronson doesn't work if he doesn't cough to introduce his full album. That's a concept album about white Broncos, but the furthest the concept goes is maybe sprinkling in like galloping sound effects on like 2 songs and like the horse like neighing or whatever just on a couple of the beats. Like, it's so simple. You could say it's lazy, but I just think it's self-aware and awesome. Like, I just really appreciate it. I mean, it wouldn't be the same if he was rapping over the most decked out production in the world and he fit perfectly in the mix, like a part of the orchestra to an extent. You know what I mean? You can't mix this guy into like a world. Like, he exists as a cartoon character who needs a soundtrack. You know, you can't play Mario and ask for Fortnite. You're not getting multiplayer. You're getting Mario mode. You gotta defeat the Koopa. Music that dares to not take itself too seriously is the music that's gonna last. And case in point for this would be Christmas music. I mean, Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer. That's not a real song. That's like a parody. That's like something Weird Al would make. And it's not anything that anybody nowadays would make either. Everybody's so concerned about aura and how much, you know, black they can wear without disappearing. They're not really concerned about like being humorous in a song and like creating an energy that people can laugh around the campfire with. Like legitimately, that's what people do with these Christmas songs. And it's the reason why modern music isn't lasting more than maybe a week. It's like people forgetting about everything. Ice Spice came and went. You haven't thought about Ice Spice today. You haven't thought about her today. I know you haven't. You haven't thought about her. All these older ladies and gents though, making Christmas music in the 1940s through like the 1970s. I mean, dude, they're living forever. Wham! I mean, they're going down in history. Frank Sinatra, that's going down in history. You know, the thing about Frank Sinatra is that he made a song as a duet. It's a duet. We got no duets anymore. What happened to the duets? Is it too much aura loss to do a duet with somebody in a way that's not just a feature? It's not just handing off the verse to somebody. Hey, you go harder than me, or try to. It's like, can we not get something that's like beautiful? It's like two people like blending in conversation together in a way that's just like the weather outside is frightful. Oh, honey, I'll make you food. Duet is a lost art. The closest thing we got was We Cry Together, Kendrick Lamar and all that. Also listen to Post by Björk. I noticed that I've been saying Bjork the whole time and making myself look like a stupid nanny freaking idiot pants. But it's Björk. It's Björk. And that sounds more natural too. Bjork sounds like a dog who's choking on a meatball and trying to get the freaking... Björk is more dough-like. Björk sounds like a scent. Chalet Rose by Björk. Excelsior by Björk. It works better and it paints the music and the art more elegantly. So that's a good change. It's a good change to know going, you know, we live and learn. Like, there's progression in these little videos now, like month by month. I'm turning into the person I've dreamed of becoming. But I listened to Post because, man, November was really kicking me a little bit in the middle there. Everything was kind of set in. I was kind of like, this seasonal stuff ain't got nothing on me. And then like I was kind of a late bloomer and Björk kind of got me through that a little bit. This album is just fun and carefree with the experimentation and the ideas. Like, it really doesn't seem like she cares at all about like the ideas she's putting out. That she's just energy. She's a ball of energy. Her energy is so zany and unfiltered and free and one of one that it really just takes me to a nice place. Like, the world she creates with her music is a nice place. And it is cool to be reminded that that place exists via album format. Also serving as a nice reminder that the slow, stoic moments in life where stuff kind of gets sad, you know, they have the same amount of value as like the hyper ambitious, I want to take over the world, you know, thoughts. You know what I mean? They're all part of the same planet, the same experience, two sides of the same coin. It's cool to get acquainted with both in a way that isn't existential to the other. To wrap it up though, we listened to Worlds Apart by Tommy Rich. Little 8-track release from the $1 Million Baby himself. And it's really good. Like, I don't think anybody really wants to talk about the fact that Tommy Richman's here to stay. Like, I think people thought he was going to go away, but people who've been acquainted have been acquainted. Like, I've been acquainted since, let's say, Chrono Trigger, man. I mean, straight up, we're caught up in my bedroom. Shit, I got production on Paycheck. I did a little bit of the outro, the organ thing and the chords and the drums. But anyways, at this moment, Tommy Richman stands as kind of like a pioneer for this new sort of Miami-coded like R&B. And I say pioneer because no one else is, one, doing it really that great with this much care for the sound, and no one else is taking it in their way. No one else is doing it in a way that's like specifically that artist, and Tommy Richman is, because he's still his sort of, I mean, he's white on it. He's white. He's not trying to be anything he's not. He said it himself, man. He's a white boy from Virginia who likes to make this type of music, and he is not trying to be anything else other than somebody vibing on the beat. White boy vibing on the beat. And that is like really good representation for somebody of my stature. He's not trying to out-aura Brent Faiyaz on his own song, right? He's not trying to sing like Sade. He is Tommy Richman. He's got his vocal stack style. He's got his melodies. He's got a way he likes to riff on the songs. He's got a cool ad-lib. Like, he's doing his thing. He's doing like his own thing. And it's not the most polished, and it's not the most commercial. And if he got a different vocal vocal engineer on some of the songs, or he decided to record something differently, maybe it would chart better. But at the same time, it wouldn't sound like Tommy Richmond. Like his vocal stack is almost a signature sound. Like if you switched up his EQ chain or something, I just don't think it would. I mean, at least for me, I don't know how I'd feel about it. I'd have to see how it would play out. But I just like this pocket he's in because he's not leaving the bubble of where he comes from. He's not trying to like overdo himself. He's not trying to change himself. He's just riding the wave and producing stuff with the highest echelon of quality possible with the people around him. Like the difference between Worlds Apart and Alligator is just money and more experience and more fun. The same vision is there. There's the same cohesive vision. Short songs that kind of transition into each other. It's like a mini journey every time. It's a 20-minute little journey, a little fiasco you got to navigate with each Tommy Richmond release. And I'm really excited to see what he does next because he's fulfilling the Animal trilogy. He had Alligator, Coyote. I think the next one is, I actually don't know. I don't know what the next one will be. Probably like a bear. No. Alligator, Coyote, Predators. People with predators. Animals with like jaws and with bite force. So Alligator, Coyote, Bear. Like Bear works because it's kind of like in a different element. Like Alligator, kind of Miami. Coyote, the desert. Maybe something in like, the tundra. Bear. Polar bear. But you can't name your album Bear, right? Probably not. Grizzly? I don't know. We could take it to the east. We could go like tiger, lion. I don't know. I don't know. Eagle? Like eagle kind of fits in, but I don't know. I really don't know. I guess we'll see what he does. My best guess is either grizzly or eagle at the moment. But that was everything I listened to in November. So let me know how we feel about that. All right. Oh, wait a minute. I said I would listen to Fishman. I did listen to it. It's a 30-minute song. It's a 30-minute song, bro. I'm talking directly to you right now. We're gonna have a conversation right now. That's a 30-minute song. That was pretty cool. The reason I didn't get to it sooner is mostly because I fell asleep the first couple times I was listening to it. So like I got like maybe 8 minutes in, and I did that like 3 more times over the course of the last 8 months. But now that I've listened to the full thing, I can say, yeah, that's a cool experience. I like it when people really go all out on the experiential side of music, how cool that can be. And just the concept of one 30-minute long song with all these instrumental, changes, breakups, different flavors. You know what I mean? It's like dipping your chicken nugget in the honey mustard and then the barbecue and the whatever, but you're still having chicken nuggets with sauce. It's like, oh, awesome, dude. Variety. Neapolitan ice cream. You know what I mean? Oh, like, yeah, you get 3 ice creams in a giant tub, 30-minute song, but you get a lot of different flavors. So that's how I feel about Fishmans. As I said, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to do this again in December. We're going to meet back up. We're going to reconvene. You're not even going to believe how hard we reconvene. We're going to reconvene so hard it's crazy. But as for now, man, I'm going to leave you guys to face the dark screen of abyss at the end of the video. That's